Switching up real quick, let's jump into what people probably the match people want to see the most right now. It's probably you and Nicky Rodriguez. I mean, let's like, what's your thoughts on Nicky, that match? I know you guys, if people don't know, you guys had bad blood for quite a bit.
Well, I mean, I've already beaten him twice. I submitted him once, and he called me out because after he won that thing, and he like wanted to try to call my bluff because I tell Nicky Rod like twice a year, like on WhatsApp. He'll post something, and I'll be like, hey, we can just fist fight if you want. And then he's just like, I don't want any part of that. So he called me out, and I told him previously, like on a direct like WhatsApp message, like, I'm not going to acknowledge your existence ever again. Like unless you want to fist fight in the parking lot until one of us is dead, I'm not talking about you. So of course he like wanted to call me out and make it like I was afraid of him.
A big public thing.
So I was just like, I'm going to say this once. So I said, if we're going to compete, this is what it's going to be. You let me know. If you don't let me know, I'm not talking about you anymore. And of course, I called his bluff, and he hasn't responded.
Oh, so he hasn't responded. He called you out for $1 million match, and
he called me out. I agreed. He's like, "Oh, call me out. We're gonna, bet $1 million, and we're gonna do it on B Team YouTube channel." And I was like, "You're a fucking loser, and you don't make any of the rules. If you want to fight me, it's gonna be how I want to fight because." I'm the guy. You're not the guy.
Yeah, that's true. You're the A-list right now.
I've won in every rule set. I've won every tournament. Like, you've never even... What have you won? Like, you won an EBI, you won a CJI in the first year. And then one thing that people don't talk about is everyone's looking at his CJI performance. If you look at who he fought in the... the minus 80 was a really stacked division. The plus 80, he fought Adam Bradley, and he fought Felipe Andrew in the semifinals and the finals. Adam Bradley is a guy who couldn't even win the trials to get to ADCC. And Felipe Andrew is a guy who had competed at ADCC, and he got submitted first round. Like, he fought two guys who couldn't make it, either couldn't make it to ADCC or couldn't make it out of the first day at ADCC. Yeah. And everyone's like, this guy's a second coming of Christ. And I'm just like, no, you people are fucking idiots.
That's an excellent point, that the lighter version was stacked as CGI, but the upper division wasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was really just Victor Hugo and Rod. And then Victor Hugo was the favorite because Victor Hugo's beat Rod 3 times. He's like got his number, and Nicky Rod's a confidence fighter. So once he gets beat, guys get in his head, and then he'll never be able to deal with Victor Hugo. But then Victor Hugo just got heel hooked by like a random little guy, like in the second round, I think. And then I was like, oh yeah, Rod will win now.
How did you guys first get bad blood? Because I remember in the gym, I've watched you pretty much train Nicky Rod for like 2 years or something probably. You were, as much as John, I felt like you really put a lot of time into teaching him. So it was kind of weird watching you help him evolve. And I actually I'm cool with Nicky. You don't want to bash him, but I saw him in an interview say that you never really helped him. And on my own eyes, I literally watched you pretty much train him, spend like so much time after training, giving him like free privates, which at the time you probably easily could have charged $1,000.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. Like when the team split, we had like this internal agreement that like, we wanted to, remain publicly cordial. And, I think it's stupid to like air like family drama publicly because what is it, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Like, it's like when AOJ and Atto split, they're like, we're splitting, but everything's cool. So I was like, okay. So then Rod just goes out and just starts doing like interviews, like just blatantly lying, saying that like he used to make me quit in training and that I never taught him anything and all this shit. And it's just that he, used to beat me up. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, you've never won a single minute of a single round in a competitive match that we've had ever. And the entire time that we've trained. So I waited a full year. Like, him and Craig both were going off. And I was like, honor the agreement, honor the agreement, honor the agreement. Like, I don't want to, and then finally, like one day I just snapped. Like, he went on like a tirade about me being on steroids. I'm like, bro, you literally used to ask me for steroid advice. Like, you're like, now he looks like he's actually natural, which it makes sense because, that he would be natural because he was trying to have a kid. But dude, remember how big he was in New York? He was like a shredded 250 with like cock veins coming out of like every part of his arm. And it's just like, it wasn't even like a tangible thought that he could be remotely natural. It was like
Yeah.
so insane.
I don't want to make accusations, but the dude put on a lot of weight, and like all those guys are pretty damn ripped. So to be bashing someone for steroids is pretty ridiculous, especially in a sport where there's no testing.
And it's legal.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
everyone
much.
on your team is on steroids.
Yeah, it's one of those things no one really talks about, but in grappling at the elite level, pretty much everyone is, you know. But it's one of those things with the sport, if it allows it, why not? It's not really cheating if everyone's doing it.
Yeah, and you know, like when he left, I messaged him because when him and Craig both were really like in my weight classes when I left them on the team. Like, you know, me and him kind of when he showed up, we were both like 220-ish, and we could have either went to plus or minus 99. And then he got way bigger. But him and when Craig came, I just competed against Craig at 88 kilos. So Craig was in the same weight class. So the only two reasons that those guys ever got to the team was because I allowed it. Like John's like, you may end up competing against these guys, at ADCC. What do you think? And I'm like, well, if those guys can come to the team and think that they can get better than me, or they get better than me, then they deserve the spot. Like it's a merit-based system. Like if whoever's the best deserves a spot. So for me, it was never an issue because I'm like, yeah, come to the team. Like, good luck getting better than me.
Yeah.
And so, I helped, those guys for years, like you said. And then, when they left, I kind of messaged Nicky Rod and I'm like, hey, I don't have a problem with you. I'm like, I fucking, help build your career. And I think that, you should show some fucking loyalty and, stay with us. And if you're a serious athlete and you want to be the best in the world, you should train under John. But if you want to fucking leave. And he's such a pussy. He never even responded to my message. Like he never said thank you. He never said fuck you. He's the biggest fucking pussy of all time. And I just don't respect that. Like if you're gonna leave, either say thank you. You've helped me. Like you brought me to the team. You let me train there for free. Like I've got them sponsors. I've got them paid. I helped them with negotiations for fights. Then when he left, he just didn't say anything. It was no thank you. There was no fuck you. It's like be direct at least.
Yeah. At least say either thank you or fuck off. I don't like you.
Yeah.
It is weird just to not answer after. Like I said, I watched my own eyes. I watched you train the guy.
Yeah. And everyone, every old school guy like you, understands that.
Yeah.
But these fucking kids of this generation just they don't get it, and it's just so insane to me.
Yeah, that's what I respect about you and Gary and stuff. You guys, you have a bad rep online, but you're always so respectful to me. Like all the OG guys that are black belts before you, you still treat like OGs and stuff. You understand
There's a hierarchy. It's like just because you start getting good or start getting famous, or even if there's always going to be a time where the people who you looked up to, like if you're progressing like you should, the people who are your idols, you should be able to eventually beat those guys up, as they get older. But it doesn't mean that you're just a fucking cocksucker because you can beat them up. You and Doug and Brian Glick and George, if we grapple, I'm obviously gonna get the better of it, but those you are the guys who taught me coming up. So my loyalty is always going to be to you guys because you were the guys who fucking helped me get to where I am now. And the fact that this generation just forgets where they came from immediately the second they get an ounce of fame is just it's the most insane thing ever.
Yeah, no, because 100%, you still even once you started getting better than us, you still treated us all like your seniors. It's a perfect example of these guys not better than you, but they kind of ditch out and basically say go fuck yourself, which is kind of weird. Again, I'm cool with all these guys. I don't want to say anything bad about them, but I've always been closer to you, John, Gary. I thought it was really strange how almost everyone went with the B team when the team split. The majority of the top guys, other than the very best, all switched to the B team.
Well, yeah. I think it was. If you look at basically what they have now, it's basically just a frat house where they all just kind of have fun. Craig hasn't been to the gym in a year and a half. I don't even know how that works.
He's doing matches with women now.
Yeah. And Nicky Rod is willing to do hard work. Ethan's willing to do hard physical work, but they're just both so dumb that they don't really get any better. They just kind of get more physical and more intuitive. But to have John a drill sergeant, and John's not you got to be there every day, but the fact that John's presence, John's there every day, so his presence,
he'll know if you're not
it's
there.
Constantly,
he won't say anything to you, but you'll know he knows because he knows everything. He always knows everything that's going on. There'll be 10 matches at once, and he's watching all 10 of them. Is what's crazy.
Yeah. So I think that they have like when they left, like Craig's whole brand is based on being a loser. Like they had the B team thing, like so. I think that those guys kind of want to just have like a laid back life and have like more fun than anything, which is fine. That's that's fine with me. But I like what's fun for me is winning. So like I want to train with John and I want to win. Like that's my whole thing. Like I don't want to be a clown who has fun that like does funny stuff on Instagram. I want to leave a legacy when I die. Like that's my prerogative.
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer. That's why I was surprised that so many guys switched over. And again, like I said, I'm cool with all those guys. Not going to bash any of them, but it just seemed like the split was weird. Remember what happened? I was never really given a good answer too. Like I went over there, trained, to try and be like, oh, so why don't you guys like Gordon? And it was just like it was always a different reason, but nothing was that clear. So I'm just like, all right.
Well, Craig's whole thing is that if he can't beat you, like if he can't beat something or like win at something, he'll just try to destroy it. Like he couldn't beat me, so he joined the team and then they broke the team up. Like he couldn't win ADCC, so he tried to crush ADCC. He's just like a very vindictive. Like Craig's like Instagram persona is the exact opposite of what Craig is in real life.
Yeah, the joking around and all that. Like even I trained with Craig, I never really hung out with him that much outside of the mat. So, but yeah, I know the team. Like you can see the results.
This is going to be. I promise I wasn't going to talk about any of these people, and Jake fucking sprung
We'll
it on
switch
me.
it up. Sorry.
This is going to be like the internet's going to explode, and I'm just going to be sitting here like I didn't even want to do this.
Now I feel bad, but oh well. We'll get some good shit talking on there. I'm gonna get caught up in too. Like I said, I'm so cool with all these guys. They're probably gonna hate me, but like I said, I've always been closer to you and fucking Gary and John. I don't dislike any of those guys. I just thought the whole split was kind of weird and didn't like it. But yes, let's switch up some different topics. Something else. We talked about them for enough.
This is gonna I'm gonna like have to be dealing with this all week now.
Right.
Like I should have told him before. Like I don't want to talk about the B
Right.
team, and then I was like,
Oh fuck. So yeah, let's switch it up. Mikey.
oh my god, Mikey. I don't know. Mikey just attacked me. I was
that
always
was weird,
the only thing
right?
I've
Yeah, I
ever
like
done
Mikey.
is like talk highly of Mikey. And then he's just like talking about the thing about Mikey. The thing about Mikey is Mikey will be like, if you take steroids, he's like been doing passive aggressive shots to me forever. But the thing about Mikey is like he'll make one post that's like, hey, if you take steroids, like you're mentally weak, like you're too weak, and it's just you need like a crutch and you need an out, blah 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 blah. So he'll talk about like if you use steroids that you're mentally weak, and then like his very next post will be like, I'm depressed and I'm sad and like we really need to like talk about mental. It's just like, bro, just fucking do your thing and leave everybody else
Right.
alone.
This guy is good though. It's crazy. He's this little. People don't know. He's this little. Looks like a little nerdy glasses, and he's 145 pounds or something. 150.
Something like that. Yeah, I
145.
think he actually competes lighter. I think he competes like 135.
Yeah, and just so good.
Except for he just missed weight, but at least he doesn't look like he's 40.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it was a weird thing. 'Cause I thought you guys got along, but I don't think it's. He's just a little strange, but certainly a talented kid.
No, yeah, he's definitely tough. He's kind of just like. I mean, he fights a tough guy here and there at one, but he's basically just like can crushing at one now.
That's a
So
great point. He's never done ACC.
no,
I was wondering
he's
why
been
never
invited
done
3 or
that.
4 times, but he's just never done it. Which, and he can say that it's because the weight class doesn't fit him. Like he's it's 66 kilos, so it's 145, which is like big for him. Especially guys are cutting down to 145. And I don't even think that he really walks around. I think he walks around that or a little bit lighter. But you're competing in at absolute divisions at IBJJF. So you're fighting guys who are like 230, 240 pounds. Like he fought Muhammad Ali, who was like 265 pounds one year when he did ADCC.
It was a good match too.
Yeah, and he fought Muhammad Ali in an absolute. So it's like if you're gonna do IBJJF absolutes, like do fucking ADCC. Like that's where all the best guys are. Don't make an excuse like, oh, it's not my weight class. You do open weights.